Hello, Dad here. It is Tuesday, 28th of April, 2020. I was just, it's getting kind of late. Uh, I just had a shower though. I don't want to go to bed yet. I still have to read some scriptures and get ready for bed. But I, uh, I was just thinking about some things. I thought would be kind of fun to share, maybe for some of the younger kids or, that may not have grown up with it, or some other friends of the family that might not know. Uh, many many decades ago, I used to fly. I only had about 90 hours total time, little over 90 hours total time. Had a lot of fun. Would go out occasionally in commit aviation, and on it's something I enjoyed. That I have a lot of other interests that I really enjoy. I like hiking and backpacking and just doing fun stuff with the family. But flying, it's, if I have to admit to having any kind of, I don't want to say it, addiction, that's not the right word, but just extreme fondness for, it's flying. Even as a kid, growing up, watching the planes take off from Hollywood Burbank Airport, now it's Bob Hope Airport. Go out with a buddy of mine. We go up to a park called Brace Park, and I may have mentioned this in an earlier video. And we watched the planes take off, and unfortunately, he was in an accident and wound up crashing. But on the on my last trip back home, I was from Burbank to Denver. There was 14 people on board this 737. And then from Denver to St. Louis, there were 7 people on board. And it was just nice to have some room. And I didn't have to worry about being, the little guy that's stuck in the middle between, these two big, farmers or oil field workers, or and I was able just to enjoy the flight. And there was room. I'd sit in the middle seat, so I had the seats in front of me. The supports would come down and bolt onto the deck. I'd put my feet on those, and I let myself just have some fun. When I was on the seat supports, I would use those, pretend it's my rudder pedals, or and the brakes. Use my toes for the brakes and use the rudder pedals, and then real surreptitiously, I'd be sitting here. I'm a 60-year-old guy, and the plane, the first trip out of the first leg, we got to do a rolling start. Nobody was stacked up. He went from the ramp onto the taxiway, and straight from the taxiway, continuous roll to the apron, and then onto the runway, and it was full on. It was so much fun. And here I am, just kind of being sneaky and, adjusting the throttles and playing with the yoke and coordinating the turns. And in my mind, I'm trying to imagine, what the conversation is going on with ATC. And it was just so much fun. Just to do that. And so since I've been back from the last trip, which was in early April, I've been reviewing a lot of flying. I shouldn't say a lot, but for the time I have available, probably an inordinate amount of time. I do my reading and do some exercising. It's a little bit more difficult with the lockdown. Some other things going on with work, but and it's just been fascinating. I could, think of, reviewing all these accident analysis channels, not channels, but guys that would do accident analyses as part of their commentary, and it made me think about, wow, my initial flight training and ground school really was not up to par. I enjoyed the instructor, and we had fun in the mighty 150, but I remember talking about a lot of problems developing around spatial disorientation. And one time I was going from, I believe it was Whiteman, to Brackett Field out near Pomona. And it was just a very hazy day once you got over into the San Gabriel area, the San Gabriel Valley, or wherever Pomona is. And I just remember it was very hazy. And I thought I should have had the airport in sight based on my initial calculations, which were off a little bit. And being willing, which was nice, I was humble enough to call up ATC and ask them, hey, I think I'm supposed to have a visual on your runway by now. Could you give me a hand? And they asked me to ident, and so I did that on the transponder, and it turned out I was probably 15 miles west of where I thought I would be at that time, which isn't a huge amount, but it was just, I was such even at 90 hours, it's a very inexperienced flyer. And so they kind of, helped me find my way. And eventually, about 3 minutes later, boom, I got a visual, and it was all good. Landed and had a nice lunch at the cafe there, and then went back to Whiteman. And flying my mom to Catalina. That was a fun trip, going through Los Angeles. There was a corridor there. I don't remember exactly what it was called. I'm still reviewing things and trying to remember some things and get back into it. But it was nice, and because when we were younger, my mom would take my brother and I to Catalina, and we would go on a regular ship, a hydrofoil, and a couple of times on a seaplane. And that was a hoot. Get to sit in the right seat of the seaplane and watch the guy as he's trimming his tabs and just maneuvering the aircraft. That was fun too. But it was just happy memories, going over and playing in Catalina and playing skee ball and going on the tram ride and seeing the buffalo and things like that. So it was nice to be able to reciprocate a little bit and fly my mom over to the airport at Catalina, which is on top of a mesa or kind of a hilltop. But it was nice. It was nice. It was just just fun stuff. And so it just got me thinking, I do have other interesting, fun things I like doing. I love traveling. I like hiking, camping, backpacking. That those aren't things that I could just spend an hour thinking about, planning about. And now, when I go out backpacking, I do plan it out, but it's with a different mindset. And so I do have some other things I need to take care of, and I do need to accumulate a few more funds to help take care of some things. We're very blessed. We are very blessed. The house is paid off. We live in a beautiful part of the country, even though the area itself is a bit economically disadvantaged. Nice, good people, good friends back there, back home. And so I do need to continue to develop some revenue streams for post-retirement, and I'm probably going to get back into flying again. It's just been a lot of fun since that trip back home. Anyway, it's just some little reminiscences. Reminiscences? Remember however it's pronounced. I'll let my better educated friends figure that word out. Reminisce about stuff. So it's reminiscences? Oh well. I probably should start getting ready for bed. But it's just nice. It's been a while to keep in touch with the family and with friends and their friends that may tap into this. So you have a wonderful night. Have a fun week. Stay happy. I think good thoughts, not only happy thoughts, but good thoughts and positive thoughts help strengthen the immune system. And that's an important thing, especially now with all the trampling on our civil liberties in the name of health security, other things that are going on. But I'm not discounting the importance of trying to protect those who might be less resilient. But I seem to remember, quarantining individuals that were at high risk or having medical issues, as opposed to locking down an entire society for a very minuscule risk. How many people? Well, not as many that people aren't driving to work, but how many more people used to die in traffic accidents every week? Sad as that is, it's not happy. When I was a deputy sheriff, I never liked seeing accidents. Having to rush people to the helicopter from brain injuries as they were starting to debug. But anyway, stay safe, stay happy, enjoy yourselves. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for spending time with Dad. All right, bye-bye, love you.